improved resolution, though, which is a significant boost. The game just looks much cleaner overall on the Pro. One game that hasn't been patched, but makes great use of the Pro's power on its own, is actually Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's a game that could benefit from the newer versions of PSSR because there are still some noticeable performance drops. But even on performance mode, running at 60 FPS with the mentioned occasional drops, the game does have some ray tracing and illumination, and it looks absolutely incredible. The base PS5 version doesn't have ray tracing at all, and it's very noticeable just how big a difference global illumination makes towards just improving that atmosphere of being able to look in the world. The game just looks more dense and just feels more lush with vegetation. It's one of the more alive-looking worlds of Assassin's Creed we've seen. The frame rate could be more stable, but it's otherwise a very impressive showing on the system on the technical front. A game I didn't really enjoy, but I did really appreciate the benefits of just having this console, right? Because UI interface-wise, it just feels like a PS5, right? But then every so often you jump into a new game and you go, oh yeah, I got a Pro and I can take advantage of this stuff. And it was a little bit more seamless. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the good examples. Now, along with that, on the bad side, the other two clear losers of the PS5 Pro were Alan Wake 2, which had some real rough PSSR implementation, and the Silent Hill 2 remake, which you may have seen headline.
Bro, the level just started and we're already getting overrun. I gotta take these guys out and build this crossbow tower as fast as possible. That's a good thing I have a choice. Quickly. Ooh, that was close, but that should take care of things. Wait, never mind, more guys. I should have saw that coming. Anyway, we can't handle this without a second crossbow tower and maybe a wall to block enemy's path too. That should hold us. Wait, now we have these big beepers coming? When does it end? This is King Shot, a tower defense and base building strategy game that just came out recently and is already top 5 in strategy games with over $1 million. King Shot combines strategy, exploration, resource management, PvP, and PvP. I suggest you give it a try. If you think you have a shot at becoming a king, that is.
It did suffer from similar problems. The situation was so bad with Silent Hill that they actually patched the game to just remove PSSR completely. Just a few days ago, the developers released a statement saying that they were still working on a fix, which is good, because most people were starting to assume that there was never going to be an update at this point. But it sounds like it will happen for Silent Hill 2 eventually. Well, that game is MIA. Alan Wake 2 did manage to get fixed with a pro patch released in December that mostly addressed the issues people were having with the game. It now looks much better than it did with proper ray trace reflections.
Avon is the real fucking bad guy, not the Russians? What? Hey, who saw that coming? Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just take your hard-earned government cash and run. You go back to robbing banks, running guns, smuggling cargo, or whatever the cool crooks are doing these days. I'll just need to see how this plays out. In the meantime, I'll try and contact that Russian captain, Bogdan, to see what he knows. We're gonna make Avon pay. Oh, just wait for my call.
Games. One of the more inexplicable games to get the PS5 Pro enhancements is the PlayStation release of the Xbox game Forza Horizon 5. It's a series that we've, of course, always closely associated with the Xbox brand, but now they're putting out trailers and showing how the game looks better than ever on the Pro. And they're not joking. The game does look fantastic with detail across the board, a better draw distance, all while retaining 2K resolution at 60 frames per second. Other than PC, this seems like the best way to play Forza Horizon 5, and it's quite the technical achievement for a game that just feels... kind of weird on PlayStation hardware, because you're just so used to playing it on Xbox. I get it's like a changing business world and all, but it's weird. And speaking of other games that have been updated... One game that recently got updated with the newest version of PSSR was Days Gone Remastered. And when the PSSR update was good, the games appear more visually clean.
Hey, this is actually way more serious than I actually want to believe. Bogdan was right. Avon, well, Avon and Clifford have control of the country's defense system, and they're building their own...
Balance. Pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And frames per second from 60 person for your company, like that is no good. So the situation with the Pro is still a little bit all over the place. A little more complicated to explain. It's not just a resounding, yeah, it's awesome. Some games have gotten updates. Star Wars Outlaws runs now much better after some updating compared to where it used to be. But other games that were like made for the Pro and by all accounts should run much better are extremely rough feeling, like Elden Ring Nightwings, shockingly inconsistent frame rate. The good outweighs the bad, though. There are many games that look and run really, really well on the Pro. Some of these we covered back at release, like Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Horizon games and stuff, Resident Evil 4, Spider-Man, obviously. But it's not all just Sony published games that are benefiting, right? Games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 look really good on the Pro. They take advantage. PSSR doing a lot of heavy lifting with no major visual issues usually to speak of. Even with no setting or options to change the Pro settings, you can turn on PSSR. The game has more detailed models, shadows, better foliage, 2K dynamic resolution, and a stable frame rate. We don't need the most minor dips to like maybe 50 frames per second, 55 at the lowest. It's solid. The game looks fantastic on the Pro, and it's a real stand-up for this. Another small accessory for the Pro is actually one of the rare Sony exclusives that actually came out last year, Astroman, which has no settings, but does see a lot of improvements on the system, like improved shadows, great detail, and crisper shadows with the dynamic resolution, generally around 1800 rather than at 1620p. It seems that the standard PS5 version ran at. It's a minor resolution bump, but the visuals are just ridiculous overall. So the Pro overall has just been seeing some major improvements in the last 6 months. Many games that have more performance or look bad at launch have been patched and improved. It's not perfect. Many games only look marginally better, but it's, still doesn't faithful to the was a top-of-the-line PC component. And if you compare a lot of these games to the standard PS5, the comparisons hold up. You got games that work you down, better resolutions, better, more stable frame rates on PS5 Pro. It's not like a total game changer. Again, it doesn't feel like this massively, or something that like we were begging for PS4 Pro. But if you have the expendable income, have the luxury of being able to get one of these things, and you have like a TV or a laptop that really take advantage of everything, like higher refresh rate modes, you're gonna feel the benefits. Like you're gonna feel glad that you spent $700. This is how we like it. This is how we think it should be implemented. We like the games on the Pro where it just feels seamless. Where if you have a Pro, you fire up a game, it's just better. Not a lot of complications, not a lot of frame counting, it's just an upgrade. You don't have to be Digital Foundry, getting into the new stuff, researching anything. It's just a game that plays and looks better because you got the better device. So again, the Pro is probably really mostly for people who want to get the most out of their 4K TVs or just really obsess over frame rates. But if you are that obsessive, you might have a PC. Still, 6 months from release, the Pro is absolutely in a better state than it was back in November. It's just a little complicated. We still have a couple of little complaints like we started off with at the top. Ultimately, we still feel similar to how we did with the before you buy it. When I did that, I said, essentially, this is not a must-have. But if you want the best of the best and you're willing to pay for it, you do get some nice upgrades. And I still think that stands 6 months later. It's just in better shape. Is it an absolute must-have? Does it change the game completely? No, not quite. But more and more, we're glad we bought one. I know that sounds complicated, but in my opinion, the PS5 Pro is just a complicated console upgrade. Either way, that's where we feel roughly 6 months later. Hopefully you can see some of the gameplay on the screen here. Like I said, YouTube requests a lot of it, and it's hard to notice a difference. But I definitely recommend, do stores exist anymore? Maybe you can go to a store and look at what they've got to a TV, and there you'll notice some difference. Either way, it's good to talk about this stuff. Thank you if you guys like it. We're not Digital Foundry. We're not counting individual frames and pixels, but we like to go by feel and have some fun talking about this stuff. So if you like this video, click on the like button. It's really all you gotta do. It helps us out, and we appreciate it. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
style, like funky B2K.
Do you think it's weird? Everything fits together. Yeah, of course, it's like
Top 10 weird game stories made.
Now, Lil Wayne allegedly kicked his girlfriend and her daughter out of his house on Mother's Day. What you talking about doing now?
You got this tour going. You got your brothers, Turk, Wayne, Fred's baby. They take money. So now the place is faded with to make the situation. Wayne cancel the show. And these guys taking the money. So Wayne being selfish. But in that instance, I feel like you're embarrassed with them. For you get to the hoods to show that all the hood right. A lot of people put people out there, keep your eye on the push feet there like that to go get them out of here. You know, I gotta go. I ain't never text my children anytime I get beat down, pay rent, I don't want to beat. So I understand that, but then everybody look like the girl right there, she told me my birthday coming up and all that. Like, we'll find some house and let y'all beat it. But Wayne, I guess, because I'm like Wayne, me. So, yeah, so big beats. So, first up, yeah. Hey, so, it's not too long, man. It's nice. Oh, that's because
This is an unexpected surprise. Lil Diesel is actually in there. You got a surprise music.
Yeah, I had to.
Now, there's a bigger surprise here. And that is that not only are you guys friends now, but you actually live together.
Yes. Yes.
You guys went from trying to kill each other to nights to now living together with Terrence's mom.
Yeah, it don't take easy. I went in my bedroom sleep. I had some church music playing. I smelled some coffee brewing and they make breakfast. So yeah, boy, that's the way to get in here though. I said that's the way to get in here. Every mom's that good breakfast.
Honestly, you might end up marrying your mom.
Okay, that big stepdad at one point. You never met that dad. Y'all got shots in your shop. That's not Sugar so busy, but she want me to go. It's not much to get married. She wants me there. And told her that already. It's a bit.
Well, what's crazy is that all of this happened because I put you guys on Live TV. And in fact, I got a shout out to my Live TV YouTube members. One Saints fan 354. He's the one that brought up the original question. He said, "Who is Lil Jesus from the mill?" He goes, "No, let him take that question." That was the actual comment that I read. And that was the first time you actually mentioned people on camera. And it got back to you. You reached out, said, "Let's do an interview." I said, "Let's do it with you guys. We flew you guys out to New York. And we'll have to be security there just in case."
Yeah, I trust him.
They
You trust me. That's all.
Did you trust him?
Yeah, I was good. I was cooking. You feel like you think I'm soft, son. She said, that's a fact.
How'd you guys end up doing
It reached out to me. I got called. Let's go check it out. Because I'm like, I see on Instagram and then my comments, people always ask me. It's a better story than a real story. I'm like, start the challenges. So you know, I can stick around. straight up like, that's, it's just a chance to, what I do, it's not a straight up project, guys or whatever, ain't those stories, and we help them, that's the one, and person, so we can make see the point, so we, each man, we ain't got to, and each man, we don't know what to say, it's the same thing. So when I got called in, I was like, sit down from the restaurant, go to the restaurant, I was like, make sure you done it. So he was like, okay. So I had some time to go out to the home. So I go in, and I'm going to overnight bag and see how it is. And, you know, I'm glad I had everything in my bag. So I literally took everything that he had in the hand, put it in the car.
Okay, so he was back to New Orleans. Certain problems, we touched on this last time, but you know, that's what creative problems. So no, like win or old beefs or anything else like that, because Terrence doesn't really go to New Orleans very often. You've been there a couple times, but you're in and out, I feel.
Right. Ain't nothing to hang out. Ain't nothing to hang out.
I mean, easily you been hanging out. You've been living out with it. You spend a lot of time with him?
Still the same stuff, so and something else.
Okay, cool. So why'd you decide to move?
Texas? Yeah. Because I did good opportunities for me. And like he said, yeah, man, he been there ever since I made it there. They take that long to get the job and things like that. Yeah.
You guys, is he officially part of it? Because they were saying that he was part of it.
I don't know really what to, if there's any victims or family members over there, but at this time,
I just feel like, if you reach a certain age in prison, if you're like 80 and over, at least, let's say 20 years, what's the point of keeping it? You get out at 80 years old after doing 2 decades, what are you going to do? Want to masculine free? Like, you got to try to enjoy years of your life. You're just going to try to go back.
See, they got it based on this, well, it's not because of that. Because we're down the week of fighting. And one from there, the box was fighting for, came to me. So, when
when it comes time to let him go, it's a different.
You can't compare Larry Hoover to Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, so
Larry Hoover was a gangster.
This is what I'm
Nelson
saying.
Mandela was a freedom fighter.
Yeah, they're looking at this.
It is what it is.
I will say, I think he's deserving of parole, yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Do I think he's done enough time, 50 plus years? Yes.
I agree.
Do I think he's a threat to society? Personally, do I think right now the administration that's in is anti-Trump? So it's kind of like the big silent let him go, and the big Trump is like the hero. Okay, like it is, that it does.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're gonna do it right now. I think they're gonna let him pass his victory from the inside, which gets to lead Canadians. Conditions, but it'd be better conditions. And I'm thinking worst case. The next time we go to war in 3 years, maybe 20 kicking alien ass, you know, I believe just let him go. They let him go. Hope they let him go now. But just understand the politics that people did with their voice and that anti-Trump make that move and make Trump a certain kind of way. That politics around that ain't that. What I like to see, I would like to see him do, I'm here to I think a good son, I love his son, that's what and I met him in Miami. But when I heard him say, I want to kiss my dad, I said, yeah, man, they need to let that, they need to let that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't like his sons is gangsters. No. You know what I'm saying? They should start a petition for him, as they did for Tory. You know, I believe that anybody out there who's family, children, or whatever, were influenced by Larry Hoover, not to gangbang, to lead violence. I believe those letters should be written and sent in. People should create a website or create a place where people can do these things to sit in, because when they sit down and they look at, he was convicted for 200 years for these things. He's done what? What was his behavior in here? What has he done? He denounced, he this, he that. And we have a slew of letters that says, since Larry Hoover started pushing growth and development, their son was changed his life. This didn't happen. This went that to try to kind of offset that and show the change in the man. I think those things do happen. So, you know, stop being mad at me, but just speaking my truth and going over some things I'm reading. And I see some of y'all put these things in action.
Burns had 16 feet of intestines removed this week. We wish him well in his recovery. And sitting in for him, he's awesome. He's hilarious. For Mark Norman, everybody. There you go. Thanks for coming in.
Good to be here. Good to be back, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Nice heart, man.
That was yes. What are you kidding? I'm American. I'm human. Kelly has a splatter in my day.
Yeah.
We've all had a shart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think of a good one. One time I sharted on a date, and I could feel we were going to hook up. and I had to just get out of there, like get the panties off.
Yeah.
My panties off, and before we,
Yeah.
you know,
How did you leave today, or did you just go like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom
I just did the bathroom thing.
and cleaned up?
Yeah, because if you're getting a tan or something, you're just assuming you can smell the shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, right when those pants come off, the air opens.
Oh, that wasn't bad. Was it pretty bad?
It was pretty bad, yeah. And I'm not sure. I got a tight pee hole,
Yeah.
quite the balloon knot, but every now and then, I feel like once a year, you get stung.
Yeah, I think with every year that goes by, they're more like, you know.
You think so? Is it?
As you get, I can only imagine in our 70s, we're starting pretty often.
Yeah.
I remember the last one was in a bathroom. I just went to fucking disaster.
At least you were in the middle.
That's the best place it can happen. It was like they're horrible. And out in public, it's not a day. Feels like really. Were you in that place?
No, we were like at a Walgreens. I could tell it was going to be. I was like, oh, nothing kills that confidence. Like, sure.
You know, sharp, really nice.
Yeah. It was bad, but yeah, rarely do it. I got a baby. We need to start with fun.
They just shit this good.
The beauty of a baby is when it starts in the diaper, you're like, hey, it was a good day. Usually it's fucking Katrina, flip water.
It's too late.
Yeah, you ever have the thing where you change the diaper? You're like, all right, that was a giant load of dung and waste, and then you put a new diaper on and they ship that one.
Of course.
No, he's 4.5 months. He's a big sack of jizz, and it's finally getting good. He's laughing, he's smiling, he's racist. Yeah, so he's fun now.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
Yeah, sleeping through the night, everything. What's that have for? Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, we have with the dream feed. You know about the dream feed? That's where you go and you feed them at like midnight and they wake up and they'll drink. Yeah, like birds. Yeah, and then I just go up with birds and vodka.
That's exactly what it was.
But yeah, so they sleep through the night now. It's huge. Save the marriage.
Oh, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
There's no more relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what do you got? 6 kids now?
I have 2, and they're 6.